everyone, welcome to Blockhead U. This is our weekly hang of New Kids on the Block fans. If you're watching a replay, thank you for joining us. You should know that we do this live every Wednesday. We start at 9 p.m. Eastern, that's 8 Central and 6 Pacific, so please come back and join us next week. And right now I'm watching all of my pals rolling into the live. Hi everyone. If we haven't met before, my name is Melanie and I'm in Toronto, and I see my co-host Ashley. She's in South Dakota, and I'm gonna go grab her. So, Ashley, woohoo! Okay, Ashley, can you send me a request? I think you did. Okay. Week Bean. I hope everyone is doing well. Is this like not the slowest week ever? I feel like I can't believe it's only Wednesday. Hi, Ashley.
Hello. I hear you. I don't know if it's the fastest or the slowest week that's ever happened this week, but
okay, you've been up to a lot. Over the past week, you've been up to a lot. Like you did some traveling and some celebrating. So
very much.
Good for you. And you got some sun, unlike me.
It was okay. So honestly, I'm a sunscreen lady. So anything that I had for a tan was sprayed on me. It was not natural. So
okay,
you can have some summer sun too. Is what I'm saying.
It's yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh my gosh, before hi Megs. Before I'm just gonna grab Megs as our moderator. Okay. Before starting this live, I wrote a little list of like all of the things that have happened in the New Kids world since we last chatted, and it's a lot. Okay. So should we like kind of go through them?
Please.
Okay. It's so so okay, Joe announced 2 more dates on his 50 for 50 tour. He's hitting up Seattle and Vancouver. I'm not in Vancouver, but I'm very, very far. But that's a Canadian date. I'm thrilled for my West Coast Canadians.
It's still getting it across the border.
Yes.
It's a step closer to Toronto.
That's true. I mean, it looks like after the tour this past summer, he was doing some filming in Vancouver. So he has been over the border.
Good.
Recently, I guess we can say. So I'm really, really hopeful that he's going to make his way over to the East Coast and come and visit us in Toronto. Yes, Nuck girl, you must be Canadian with a name like that. So excited for Vancouver. Are you in Vancouver? Is there anybody in the chat who is going to hit up the Vancouver date or the Seattle date? And I'm really curious if people are traveling to Vancouver as well. It's a beautiful city. And I think that Amanda, one of our guests tonight, she and I are going to touch on a commonality that we have with Vancouver.
I've never been to Seattle, and I saw he's going to Seattle, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Charlene, who has watched this before. Yes. She's in LA. And I said to her earlier, probably like Thursday last week, like, I'm going to go to one of Joe's shows. Mm-hmm. And then he announced Seattle, which I've never been, and I'm like, I could probably get my husband to Seattle. I'll leave and I'll go to the concert. Yeah, it's a possibility. I might go. I might be trying to plan a Seattle trip.
Have those tickets gone on sale? I think they did, right? No, okay. Because to be honest with you, I'm not going. So I'm not really paying that much attention to the on sale. But yeah,
I'm gonna look it up while you're introducing the rest of the
because I signed up for his email list. So we've sent a couple of emails. Some VIPs went on sale, and he sent like the code as well for, I guess, a pre-sale or something. I don't know.
People just
Blue Bloods.
They went on sale today.
Okay, very cool. So please, in the chat, let us know if you're going to either show and which one you are planning to go to, or both. Blue Bloods wrapped up filming. So congrats to Donnie and his team. We also gave him a shout out last week because Blue Bloods got renewed for another season.
Very exciting.
Yes. John's show got renewed for what, season 3, right? So congrats.
Being someone who's like generally, and you can't tell by this room that I'm in, but I'm into like design. I sell real estate.
I'm not, as you can tell by this room.
I adore them.
I have nothing on my walls.
I'm so excited for them, and kind of sent a little message to Christine today. I just was like, hi, Christina, sorry.
You have a
Congratulations.
lot of people to keep track of. It's okay.
Ugh. I know too many Christines and Christinas and Kristens, and it's too hard. But anyway, big news across.
Big news, yeah. Okay, so what else? And for we celebrated the 15-year anniversary of the announcement that when the New Kids appeared on the Today Show announcing the reunion. That was April 4th, 2008.
At, what did they say, like 8:31 a.m.? They were all very specific about the exact time that curtain fell and they stepped out, which I remember. At. It's one of those, like,
I remember watching it too, but I just kind of happened to be watching it. It's not, I was not in tune with the, with the website and with the rumors that had gotten leaked.
I was not either. I think I was probably watching, 2008. I was probably getting ready for work or something, and I would just have like my TV on with like random stuff going. And I was watching the Today Show, and I remember looking at my what and there's
because did you ever see that episode of Bands Reunited? Like, I posted clips of it in my TikTok, and I think, I can't remember what year that aired. Again, it's posted on my TikTok, but they had the show Bands Reunited, which was this show on VH1, had tried to reunite them a few years prior to 2008, and it didn't work, obviously.
I'm going to go look at that because I literally think they were probably planning on coming back at that exact same time.
Right.
Because I think that 2007 at the latest. It could have been earlier, but it felt to me like a 2005, 6, 7, the things with reality TV that were going on at that time.
I'm just going to look at my TikTok to remind myself when that was. Oh my gosh. 2004.
Oh, okay.
Just 4 years before.
All rolling.
Yeah. Maybe the conversations had started. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And was there anything else New Kids related this week that we forgot?
No, it's the 15th anniversary. Joe's shows. Donnie renewed. Jonathan renewed. So I think that's it. If anyone in the comments can think of anything
else. It was Danny Appreciation Day, like every day for the past week. So shout out to Danny on Danny Appreciation Day, lasting 7 days.
I also wonder who started that, because it was like actually Donald Day a couple weeks ago when and
then it was Joe Day.
Yeah, but that too, I think it was just like based on the names of the people. I don't know that Danny Day was a thing, but we celebrated it. It was amazing.
Well, I mean, we celebrated every day, really. Donnie on TV Guide. Yes.
That's so huge. I mean, how great that he's kind of headlining that show. I know I had read somewhere that all of the cast took a 25% decrease in pay just to like keep the show going.
Okay.
Just because it's crazy and everything. I think that's so great. Like, they have such a huge fan base, and whether it's true or not true, you can tell that everyone on that show like really cares about the people who care about the characters in the show. So regardless.
Right. And it's also the people behind the scenes as well, right? It's a huge have you ever been to the Blue Blood set?
So I've not been to the Blue Blood set, but I have been in New York City while there were other shows, and you just kind of get the scope of like how many people are involved in any of that. And it's literally from costuming, makeup, production, assistants. Like, it's probably for the 5 people who might be on set to perform that day, there's 100 people who are there just to support or produce or direct or whatever. It's really cool to see. If anyone has a chance to go see any sort of production, Blue Bloods obviously seems very fan appreciative and like open to letting people come and see what's going on. But it's a very cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, if you happen to be in Toronto, you're always tripping on a film set. Like yesterday, walking my dog, we passed one, no idea what it was. It's probably some Christmas movie. It's always some Hallmark Christmas movie or some film or show that's like set in New York, and they're dressing Toronto to look like New York.
I would come and visit you solely not because I wouldn't want to see you, but solely a Hallmark movie being filmed. I would die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, truth be told, it's a lot in the suburbs as well too, like the much more like quaint towns. But yeah, if they need like the big city feel, here.
Love it.
Somebody's Toronto. Somebody's brother lives in Toronto. Shout out to Melissa's brother. Okay, should we grab our first guest? Because I did see them. I think they were the first person to enter the live. So I'm gonna go grab them, okay?
Awesome.
Okay.
So everyone, while you're watching, we have some really fun guests tonight, and they have some really cool experiences. If you want to follow them, please do. Go to the little arrow down at the top of the screen on the left-hand side.
Hello.
And you can see all of their handles.
Okay, is my...
Yeah!
You sound great.
Okay.
You look great. Perfect.
Excellent. Hello, everybody. Hi, I got my fursuit head over here just so people know who I am.
Hi. Can you introduce yourself? Let us know your name and from where you're joining.
Hi, so I'm Taylor. My pronouns are they, them. I'm coming from Connecticut, and I'm an autistic non-binary blockhead.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry,
That's okay. You're doing
nervous,
great. You're doing great. Ashley and I are going to take turns
Thank you.
Asking the questions. And we sent you the questions ahead of time. We're not going to ask you anything outside of what we practiced, right? Okay, perfect. Ashley, do you want to ask the next question?
Okay, so Taylor, you mentioned that you consider yourself a more recent blockhead. Can you tell us about your memories of New Kids on the Block?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think I first heard the name, was it like 2015, 2016? I don't know, but like it could have, I first heard the name New Kids on the Block, I think on the Goldbergs. There's this one episode where they were trying to get back at their sister for
that was a good
something.
episode, right? Because didn't the brothers end up becoming fans? They did.
Yeah, that was a funny one. Yeah, or it could have actually been, this is probably a really obscure reference. So back in like late 80s, early 90s, back when Showbiz Pizza Place was converting into Chuck E. Cheese, there was the show tapes for the animatronics, and they did a cover of You Got the Right Stuff. And so that could have been
I literally
it too. And
tonight, Taylor.
I know
I wore a You Got the Right Stuff tank top because that's the story.
Hey, I'm like got a New Kids jammy shirt on.
The thing with New Kids on the Block is because they've been around for so long, they pop, like you hear them in pop culture here and there. Like when I think of like, you know, if you're walking through their drugstore or even like watching the movie It, right? Like they pop up here and there, right? So it's probably hard to remember where you first heard them.
Yeah, like I know there was an episode of Regular Show where Hangin' Tough played. It could have been I was born in 2000 for reference, so I'm so or and like it also could have been like I know there goes my fursuit head. Okay, that's fine. It's okay. But yeah, like I know my mom watched Wahlburgers and she's also a Blue Bloods fan. So that's and I had some short-lived hyperfixations on New Kids over the years. But then I've been obsessed with like 80s and 90s stuff for quite a long time. And of course, New Kids is right up my alley. And so one day I was just bored in school, in the mood for some 90s music, and I was about to play Step by Step. And I'm like, you know what? I've heard New Kids before. I've liked some of their hits. And you know what? I'm just going to dig from the beginning of their first album. And I was liking what I was hearing.
Yeah.
And I figured I would anyway, and then the obsession just kind of snowballed from there.
That's how it goes, right? I'm sure, you know, when you dug back into like their early, like their first album, their voices sounded a lot different, right?
Oh my God, Joan caught me off guard. I'm like, wait, that's a child. What the heck?
I know. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm going to ask you the next question. Okay. So you purchased a ticket to the mixtape tour, right? Last year for your birthday. So which concert was that? In what city?
That was July 2nd at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm happy. I've always wondered how that city's name was pronounced.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's how it's pronounced,
Uncasville? It's Uncasville. Okay, thank you for that.
Lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that show, yes, that show being your first one, do you have any memory that was really your favorite of that whole experience?
Oh my god, but there are so many. But to be honest, like back in February, my birthday's actually on February 7th, aka Jordan Night Day, and I'm like, what the heck? Is the universe trying to tell me something?
Okay.
And what's funny is I also had surgery on his birthday.
Okay.
And so, okay, sorry, I'm going off topic.
That's okay.
So
that's
back
fine.
in February,
It's all good.
the day after my birthday, when I got my ticket, I basically went for the best one I could get for the most affordable price.
Yeah.
But I think the memory that sticks out the most to me is like when I actually got to my seat and I realized I totally underestimated just how good my seat was.
Yeah.
I was literally like one step down from the floor by the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, oh my god, I was able to be like within arm's length of all 5 guys. They all came by. I remember I got a fist bump from Joe. Danny touched my hand. And John was singing right in front of me during Tonight. And I probably could have had a selfie moment, but like I was just so starstruck. I was just recording, like gently holding my hand out because like, I was afraid to reach any further because like I'm like, consent. Yeah.
Love that.
Consent
Love
people.
that.
Yes.
That is an epic first concert experience for sure.
Yeah, well, first New Kids concert, of course. Like, I went by myself, too. Like, I mean, my parents went off to the casino to gamble, but I remember, like, when I first got into there and, like, when we had dinner and all the fellow Blockheads just around, I felt like I was in my element.
Yeah.
And
very
the
nice.
whole time I had my Jordan doll, I'm just like, yes!
Yeah, yeah. Is Jordan your favorite?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that was an extra question that I threw in there. Hope you don't mind.
No worries.
Okay, good. So you recently went to a 90s con, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's the bag?
So, okay, you got things you want to show us. Okay. So that was like your credentials, like your lanyard, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, my badge for the con.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What else do you have in there? Do you have anything else that you wanted to show us?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I met Steve from Blue's Clues. That was my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
Love.
Let's see. I'm actually surprised I managed to find the following items there.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Danny Pop.
Bonnie. Jonathan. Oh, my face. Oh, my God. Don't fall.
When was the con? Because I feel like it was before they actually came out, like with the Funkos. Like, did you have like early access to them?
I have no idea. Like,
okay.
So 90s con was forgot which day. Oh yeah, I went on March 18th, so they were I think out already at least for weekends.
Oh, okay,
I managed to find 4 out of 5. I'm only missing Joe.
Okay. So if anybody has an extra Joe kicking around, Taylor needs it.
Yes. Yep. I need a Joe.
So what was your most legendary moment at the 90s con?
Let's see. For me, probably meeting Steve, of course. Let me grab the photos because I have them right here on my Instagram. Oh my goodness. Come on. That was a pretty...
Oh, love it.
Yeah, and getting a hug from him. And let's see, my friend was in the Sonic costume and we met Joey Fatone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she really wanted a photo of Joey Fatone with Sonic, and I thought that was pretty funny. Like, she's a Backstreet Boys fan, and so we were originally going for them, but then they canceled, unfortunately. But we still had a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you like NSYNC as well?
I mean, I've heard like a few of their songs. I mean, I'm not like full on as into them as New Kids, and so for me, like meeting Joey Fatone was like, hey, cool, nice to meet you. I know, like all the people in front of us like had their NSYNC shirts, and I'm just here like in my entire New Kids getup, just like
Well,
Okay,
you know what?
cool.
NSYNC has a love for New Kids on the Block.
Yeah,
so
I respect all
that's
the boy bands the same.
Well, and
yeah.
Your favorite Jordan actually toured with NSYNC.
Oh, hey.
Back
Yeah.
the day.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard that on the Lance Bass podcast.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, he opened for NSYNC back in the day.
Yeah.
So fun.
Very cool.
Yeah. Still got stuff to learn.
Was there any part of 90s Con that surprised you that you weren't expecting?
Honestly, finding the Funko Pops, honestly, like 4 out of 5 of them, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, that was pretty crazy, I feel, because I didn't expect them to be, like, available right in front of me so soon.
No, that's pretty lucky, you know, and you didn't have to pay shipping, right? Like, if you were ordering online, so bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. All right. So on your Instagram, you've shown a bunch of your amazing artwork.
Yes.
And many are, you know, feature the New Kids. So how has the New Kids inspired your art?
So I pretty much like to draw whatever makes me happy. And of course, New Kids is in that category. And I just have a lot of ideas actually still in my head that I still have yet to draw, inspired by not only their music, but moments from the mixtape concert. Like, oh my God, the performance of Twisted. Oh, I want to draw that so bad. Yeah, like all the flashlights. That was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people in this chat who are really looking forward to that picture.
Yeah.
When you do it.
Oh my goodness. And like, I know like during my costume construction class, we were like drawing stuff inspired by random things, and I would of course use New Kids as my models, be like, hey, here you go.
I love it. So one of the kind of series that you've done is New Kids as New Kittens on the Block.
Yeah. So yeah, this one right here, I know it's an outdated design. I gotta update them because they're obviously not fully accurate, but that's okay.
But what inspired you for each guy? What inspired you for the design for each guy for that rendition of it?
Honestly, like, I just feel like it stemmed out of boredom in school, honestly, and along with my habit of making furry character designs of people and characters I like. And like when I first drew them originally, I was still learning about New Kids and stuff, and those early drawings were based on what little information I had at the time. And so, along with whatever photos I managed to find on my school's Wi-Fi, like Chromebooks, basement, you know. And as you can see, I had completely forgotten Jordan and Danny's rat tails, and the outfits look rather generic. But Donnie, I made him blonde for some reason, and he looks like Egon Spengler from Real Ghostbusters. I don't know.
That's what his hair.
I feel like Donnie's hair used to be that color. I think that's pretty accurate.
Okay, I think the reason I went for that color because like his doll design was like had that blonde hair.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I sort of also
let's
see, where is it? I gave him a tipped ear to give him that rough and tumble bad boy look.
So
good.
You know what? Somebody in the chat said cattails. Instead of like a rat tail to cattail. That's good.
Yes! Oh my God, that's perfect. I was actually thinking of, I know this one idea I had in mind was to make like a little comic series called like Rat Tails or something involving them, but cattails, that sounds better. I like that so much.
And you know what? That was Grace who said that. Grace from, oh my gosh, she's Canadian. She's been on this live before.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I of course I made Jordan and John the same color because yes, brothers.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys all like this.
Yes. I love it. And like, you know, this is your personal, you know, spin on the New Kids. And even though I know you're maybe, you know, trying to, you know, you're going for some accuracy, it's great that you're letting your imagination and your personal touch also get, you know, go into your work. That's amazing. Okay, so next question. So you designed and contributed some work for Rat Tails holiday cards this past year, right?
Yes.
So, and like specifically some John artwork, I think that went to support the Trevor project.
Yes, this one right here.
Yeah. So what inspired your, was that a sticker or was it
yes.
a card?
It
was a sticker. Okay. So
yeah.
What inspired your sticker design?
So basically, hold on, let me grab them out real quick. So, as we all know, our late friend Jenny, JK's mental shot, contributed these beautiful Jordan prints. Rest in peace, Jenny. We miss you. And I noticed that Team John was struggling. I noticed like and so as a member of the LGBTQ community myself, it was really disappointing to see how low his numbers were, especially since Rat Tail told me that John's charity, the Trevor Project, gets overlooked.
Okay.
And so I've noticed that I'm sure obviously many OG Blockheads and of course John himself grew up in a time where many LGBTQ folks were pressured to stay in the closet due to the stigma. And the fact that John was told that his career would be over if he ever came out back in the day is like really heartbreaking to hear. And I figured that me as an LGBTQ artist could contribute something to support a charity that helps people like myself. And I figured I chose to design a sticker that was not only cute, but something that was affirming for fellow LGBTQ Blockheads. And let's see, where is it? Once again, I included John's dearly departed pets, Nico and Stella.
Wonderful.
And they've all got like little pride flag bandanas and stuff.
Oh, I love it. John looks good.
Thank you all. Thank you.
What a hug.
You guys are so sweet.
Yeah, everybody's like just saying how talented you are, Taylor. This is amazing. Yeah. You should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you. And so yeah, I included his dearly departed pets, and thinking on it now, it sort of reminds me of how pets love their owners unconditionally, and our identity doesn't matter to animals. So why do people care so much about someone else's identity? Like, we're just trying to live our lives as our authentic selves. And speaking of LGBTQ Blockheads and stuff, I actually made a Facebook group for LGBTQ Blockheads and their allies, because we have such a huge lack of representation. And so how
can people find that Facebook group? Like, how do we find that group?
So
if people want to join.
Yeah.
I'll post
let me grab it real quick. Hold on. I can't even find it on my iPad. I'm so scatterbrained.
That's okay. You know what, Taylor? Maybe what you can do is send it to Ashley and me after, and then we can post it on our stories. And anybody who's interested, can get the link that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like on my other Blockhead page with a really funny username, Jordan's Little Pog Champ. You could find that in the link in the bio.
I love it.
Yes. So yeah,
that sticker is really amazing in that it captures all the essences of John.
Thank you.
Sticker. It's so cool.
Thank you. Like I actually provided several designs at first, but like we eventually settled on this one. One of them, I was gonna include like some other options, but Rat Tail and I decided on just the one. We also have my friend's John Fox furry.
Cute.
And yeah, we've also got this Dragon Ball inspired one with John and Harley, but
I don't know Dragon Ball.
Oh, it's an anime.
Oh yeah, like Dragon Balls. Okay.
So,
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I know Adrian told me that I guess Harley doesn't really like being public that much, so we ended up not using that one or the John Fox one because of the clientele and stuff.
Yeah.
What you decided on was really wonderful, though, and
I'm glad we went with the one we did.
Yeah.
So with your art, what's your next vision, or do you have any projects that you're working on that you're willing to share?
I mean, I am trying to. I'm thinking about like doing a little comic or like a little web comic to tell my Blockhead origin story in full detail, because as you guys saw in my DMs, I wrote a whole novel and I felt so bad for y'all.
No, we're happy. And I'll just let everyone know that the three of us had a conversation, and we had asked Taylor when they like to tell us their background and their Blockhead origin story. And you know, it's epic. It's epic. And then at the end they said, I'm thinking of turning this into a comic, and we were like, okay, well, maybe let's not like divulge everything in this live. Let's, you know, maybe tell a little bit here and there. Yeah. And then the rest you'll have to go and get their comic, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But something I hope to do in the future is that I could use my hobbies, my art hobbies, to support myself financially. Like, I don't take any commissions at the moment since I struggle with time management issues, especially when it comes to drawing something that doesn't particularly interest me.
Right.
And it can, what also sucks is sometimes it can be difficult to come up with something 100% original at times. Like, I don't get how Tolkien was able to come up with The Hobbit. Yeah. I mean, it must have taken a long time, and I'm sure it's trial and error. But like with some of my favorite interests, such as New Kids having an already established fan base, I'd love to be able to sell merch with my fan art on it, but I don't want to infringe on any copyright or take advantage of anyone. So
fair.
Like, yeah, we do see people selling a lot of unofficial stuff anyway, and they seem to get away with it, but that doesn't make it okay or legal. So
it's a lot to learn. It's always a lot to learn. But what you do and cannot do, it's, you know, there's a lot of Blockheads out there who would be very willing to support your art.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? And Grace said that she wants, or she would, you know, like having a cattail shirt. So.
But yeah, like for now I'm sticking to mostly inspired stuff that doesn't particularly use the New Kids name.
Right.
But if I'm ever able to afford to do so, I'd love to somehow get legal permission to use their name and likeness and sell officially licensed New Kids merch.
So Donnie, if you ever see this, hit me up. Or any of you New Kids, if any of them are watching.
Yeah.
No one anywhere by not asking permission. So good for you. That was a
good move. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so next question. Okay, with 2023 already in full swing, do you hope to attend any of the upcoming New Kids events, or do you have any hopes for any like announcements?
Oh my gosh, I wish, but unfortunately everything just seems to be too far away, and I can't really afford travel expenses combined with booking the events. Like, I know in Boston this past January this year, I went to a furry convention called Anther New England, and I tried to do a New Kids fan meetup there, and a few people showed up, but
I think I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah, like
did you have a table? Did you have a table?
Yeah, like a little, or in like booth? A room, in a panel room, like, and I was playing New Kids music videos and stuff, and displaying some of my collection. And let's see,
I feel like you had like a mini BlockCon essentially.
Yeah, that's funny. So basically, I tried to invite Donnie, but the most he did was like one of my tweets about it, and I can understand because Donnie and the New Kids are busy guys. And what's funny, you mentioned BlockCon. They announced BlockCon the week after Anther New England, and I'm just here like, coincidence? I think not.
Right.
Like, yeah, and I find it really funny that BlockCon is actually going to be at the same convention center that the biggest furry convention, Midwest Fur Fest, is held at.
Wow!
Like that I know.
Have you
Midwest
been
Fur
to
Fest
that?
is usually in December.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, it's funny that I think the big convention center is what they're using. Either that or one of the hotels nearby. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Same town though.
Okay.
Yeah, same town.
Have you been to that convention before?
I have that one. Not. I mostly stick to a lot of local cons that are really close by, and a lot of people at the furry conventions really liked my New Kids getup.
It's so cool. I encourage anyone who's watching, and we'll have you share how people can follow you, but like your New Kids furry outfits are very cool and inspired and fun to see. So I encourage anyone who's watching right now to please follow Taylor. Their stuff cool. It's
unless New Kids announce something close by, it's highly unlikely that I'll be able to attend anything this year, which sucks because like I have all these Block Nation pre-sale codes, but I can't do anything with. And I am thinking of doing my New Kids Furry meetup for Apocalypse, which is the one in Stamford, Connecticut. And
cool.
So I mean, I don't know how likely it is to get the new kids involved in furry stuff.
Yeah.
But it would be cool.
Well, if you're gonna,
well, you know, a meetup and just to meet up with other Blockheads would be any like other local Blockheads would be awesome for you.
Absolutely,
that's awesome.
Yeah, like honestly, like the insane amount of luck I had in like the first 6 months of being a Blockhead last year. I'm just here like, what did I do to deserve this? Like, already by April, I already met Joe, and I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, I bought a Polaroid camera specifically for this.
Love a Polaroid.
Yeah.
I have one too. They're a lot of fun.
They are. And luckily, speaking of stuff close by, I did manage to get to the Mohegan Sun show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was July 2nd, right?
Well, the Mohegan Sun show with Joe in January.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So then if Joe comes back your way, do you think you're going to be able to go if he goes to Connecticut again? Yeah.
I wish I could have gone to Carnegie too, but I mean, one show would have been enough, and I had the convention the next week anyway.
Yeah. It can be a lot.
Yeah. I feel bad for like everybody who was around me because like I was so like excited at that concert, totally no filter, and I had my earplugs in because loud, sensitive ears, and I feel bad. I, like looking back at my footage, I'm like, oh my god, these poor people around me.
No, you believe me. We've been a long time. You were absolutely not. There were plenty of people going, you know, having a great time around you who never would have even noticed.
Okay. And guaranteed people were also feeding off of your energy, and it was fueling their excitement. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like I was getting up, dancing. I was so excited.
Love it. Okay, so before we let you go, thank you so much for sharing your talent with us.
Thank you for having me.
Please go follow, but please tell everyone where they can follow you.
You can follow me right here on Instagram. I've also got my link tree in my bio. I try to do Twitch streams throughout April. I'm trying to, I've been playing Team Fortress 2 on Twitch to benefit Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, which is my favorite autistic run charity, run by and for autistic community.
Cool.
And so, yeah, I've got my socials, and plus I've got my Etsy shop there in my bio. And yeah.
And again, everyone,
Taylor's all over the place. You are.
Love it.
So Taylor, again, for anybody who's watching, there's that drop down menu in the top left corner. If you tap on the drop down, you'll see Taylor's handle, and you can follow them there, and then hit their link tree and get all of the other links to like your Etsy and your Twitch and everything else, right? And then we'll also connect everyone to your Facebook group too. So when you're able, send that to Ashley.
Guys.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you,
Taylor, for joining us. You did a great job.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so welcome. So happy to chat with you.
Thanks.
Okay, so you take care. We're gonna let you go. I'm gonna take you off the screen. Okay.
Okay. No worries.
Okay. Take care, Taylor. Bye. Yay.
Slow.
They're the best energy. We need to have them on it. That was so cool. Like energy. Well, I feel guys.
You feel energized. I do too. Because sometimes I come into this live and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But when we have people with great stories and such like high energy, it's like I said, we feed off of it. So thank you for bringing that, Taylor.
Taylor.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab our next guest. And while I do that, Ashley, do you want to reset the room in case anybody's new watching?
Yes. So everyone are being here at Blockhead U. We got a few shout outs on Facebook today regarding a certain video. Anyway, outside of that,
we did.
There was a video on TikTok, and people were sharing it on Facebook groups, and people were like, "She needs to go to Blockhead U."
Oh, her, right? Her, yeah.
That was It was very sweet of everyone, but everyone who's joining us, so you can, Taylor, who joined us, we will share this video. You can follow them there. And here we have Amanda. And if you go to the little arrow at the top, you can find Amanda's profile and make sure and follow her as well. And here we are. Hello, Amanda.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Great. Good. Amanda, can you let everyone know from where you were joining?
Yes. So I'm in Northern California in what was an old cow town, Elk Grove, which is now, we're south of Sacramento. Oh, it's like in the 90s had a big crazy boom. Like I grew up out in the country, didn't listen to country music. I listened to R&B. Yeah. People didn't understand that, and new kids obviously. But yeah, it used to be cow town.
But cow town no longer. And you know what? Yesterday, Amanda and I had a call, and that thing over your, I guess it's your left shoulder, that's new.
Oh,
what is that? You said you were working on something. So what is it?
I've been putting things, I collect, you have things, and it's like, obviously I have over here, these are my running medals. These are just from Disneyland races. I used to run a lot of half marathons and marathons, a lot of fundraising for Leukemia Lymphoma Society and stuff like that. So I started kind of doing that, and then I have all my new kid stuff, but I'm just like, what am I going to do with it? So I finally started to make a shadow box. I actually got some inspiration. A friend sent it to me, somebody's pictures that they had in the shadow box, put their Funko Pops. It's the boys.
And do you have all 5, including even Joe? Okay.
Yeah, so
at the top you have your VIP. Is that your meet and greet?
So randomly, this is from 89 backstage pass that didn't happen. I can go into that later. Mm-hmm. The next one is from, it wasn't I didn't get backstage, but my friend's brother works at a venue. I told you about that. And he likes to just kind of give us little things that he's like, oh yeah, and by the way, now it's not any good because they've already left the building.
Right. He gives you the pass like when they're no longer valid.
Yeah. Gone, they've left. Now it's safe for me to give you these because you can't go and attack them.
Right.
He's a fun brother. And then I've got, I think that's my 4-star from Fenway. And then the other, Fenway had put on an extra party because I didn't get VIP or any of the meet and greets. Fenway put on their own party. It was a lot of fun. And that's kind of where I met a lot of my newer friends. And then my 2 5-star from this last one, and then the 4-star. And then I've got I'm still working on, I have pictures, but it's like the pictures, I got to figure that out later.
Well, your shadow box looks great. Good job. Yeah, because yesterday that wall was blank. But we got to talking about the medals wall and running. I learned she's done 48 half marathons.
Wow.
48
and 5 fulls.
How many 5 fulls?
5 fulls. Mm-hmm.
And then we realized that we actually both did the same half marathon in Vancouver, and we have matching medals. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold it up. These like carrots.
How carrots?
Carrots
out of it. I had to get I had to get this through TSA, and mind you, it was done in Vancouver, so I had to go through customs also. They thought I had a weapon. This could, there's a lot of other things too, but yeah, they were like, what is this here? And I had to explain, I'm like, look, it's a golden carrot. It was a half marathon I ran, and they were just like, and I'm like, please give me my nuts back.
So this was from the Lululemon Series half marathon in 2015. Yes. And every year the run has a different theme. And this particular year it was like a rabbit or something like that, like rabbit running.
How they had a really long, because they had a big phrase in the gift shop on the big window. It was something like run and not catch your dreams, but it was a really inspirational kind of quote. I've got a picture of it somewhere. But yeah,
it was a lot of fun. And like we got talking, we were like, it was just like, this is my favorite medal because it's so random. Yeah. And look, we have that in common. So we were in the same place. We probably ran past each other as well.
So many, and that's the thing with like just the whole Blockhead Nation, everybody, it's like we start talking about things and it's like, I think I was there, or I just randomly found a picture at from the brunch at Joe's for Carnegie. Yeah. There's a picture that I'm taking, and in the background is one of the girls that I just met at Bourbon Room just last month. Oh, and how in the world we all are in this crazy world, and we just maybe don't know until we actually are like, hey, now I
don't know until we know.
Yeah. I don't know until you know whatever his new hashtag, or wait,
right.
hashtag.
If you know, you Joe, right?
Yes.
Okay, so listen, what is your Blockhead origin story? Like, when did you become a fan? How, etc.
So, probably, I think I still kind of say 88. I probably started hearing some of their music, but it wasn't until 4th of July, 89. Disney always had like holiday specials on TV, and Disney was promoting that now they had redone, they got the MGM studios, and they had Pleasure Island. So the guys were on and they did a whole, it was pretty much like Hey and Tough and Right Stuff, I think pretty much were on it. I remember watching it as a kid, of course, videotaped it and watched it over and over and over and over again. And so that was really kind of my original was, you know, and that was, I think that was, so 4th of July of 89 was when that was. And then, so then that kind of leads into, I'm trying to think what other questions you have. I don't want to jump too far ahead of that story. But yeah, that's kind of how I started seeing them, and just kind of, you know, had the cassette, and, you know, had the boombox with the headphones when, you know, I'm supposed to be asleep listening to them at night, and, you know, flipping to the B-side and like, no, fast forward. Okay, yeah, fast forward. Yeah. Cassette tapes.
So that does lead to the next question though, which is, so that was like 88, 89. 1990, you were on the Coca-Cola cruise. Can you tell us how that happened?
Yes, I'm wearing this to represent. My girls that I've met now, they were like, you have to wear it tonight, and I'm like, all right, fine. I changed out of my Joey t-shirt. Anywho, so 1990, the cruise, I got on it because of Make-A-Wish. So for those who don't know, Make-A-Wish is a foundation, a nonprofit that they grant wishes for terminally ill children. They actually, now they've changed kind of the verbiage. It's life-threatening diseases. So that, it was always this thing, I wouldn't say it's negative, but people always thought that if you got a Make-A-Wish, that means that you were not, you know, the child wasn't going to make it. It was kind of like end of life kind of treat that they would get.
Yeah.
I did a lot of volunteering with them also later on in life. But I was getting a Make-A-Wish because in 1989, October, I was diagnosed with leukemia as a child. I had childhood leukemia. And back then, treatment was a lot different than it is now. A lot of the stuff that I got was actually, I wouldn't say 100% study, but it was stuff that they were doing that now they use currently for the kids. And now, like, I mean, I went from, my mom tried to tell me like what, she didn't tell me at the time, but as an adult told me like what my survival rate was. I was in the ICU. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't, and the whole time I was getting treatment, it still wasn't a guaranteed thing. So it was just, it was hard for friends and family to kind of know, you know, I remember going back to school. I didn't go back to school full time, but I remember going to a dance, being with a friend, and had somebody look at me and was like, well, I thought you died, you know? And it was just like, and yeah, it's just, I will say my community was an amazing community. My best friend at the time, her mom was a nurse. She was an oncology nurse, and they set up things so that before I went to school, kids understood that I was not contagious, you know, that it's something that, you know, so they did a really good job of that type of stuff. So they really tried to educate, because back in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, you didn't know what leukemia was. You didn't know cancer. You just, you know, and especially if you said cancer, you probably thought that means that they were dying.
Yeah.
So a lot of that, you know, so that kind of led to my Make-A-Wish, was that while I was going through treatment, Make-A-Wish comes and they, you know, they do an interview, and what do you like? What do you want to be? Do you want to be something? Do you want to do something? Do you want to meet somebody? And of course, you know, what comes to mind is New Kids on the Block,
Right.
you know, so I was, and they were like, I don't know if we can make that happen, because that was like the one thing they were like, that is the hardest thing in the world at that time, when they are like at their height, to be like, we can make this happen. So luckily, well, kind of how it worked out at first was that they were in town, they were in Sacramento, and there was a concert, and so Make-A-Wish was able to get tickets. I had front row tickets and got the backstage passes, and they sent me to Nordstrom's to go shopping beforehand. We had a limo. I mean, they did it up. They were like, this is going to be great. You're going to have an awesome time. So we get there and we're waiting backstage, and it's just like crickets. Nobody's around. We're just sitting there, you know, it's like nothing. So I went, my mom came with us. It was my two good friends, and then my brother also came. So there were 5 of us, and, you know, we've got the backstage passes, which I just actually found that like last week when I was going through my mom's garage. I was like, wow, I didn't realize I still had that. I thought I threw that in the garbage can. Because I was done with them. So what happened was I didn't meet them. We got to go to the concert first row. I mean, it was amazing. It was the old days where like they had the big giant speakers that they would go up the stairs and everything. We were right in front of that. I've got great pictures from it. I mean, it was fun, but it was like we were promised to meet them. And, you know, as a 12-year-old kid, it was very disappointing. So I was like, okay, you know, here's what it is, you know, okay. So I don't remember it that well because, I mean, obviously it was a while ago, but I just kind of remember being a little like, I don't like them anymore. And I wanted to tear my posters all off of the wall, which would because I was the one that had all the, you know, that was the thing that I'm noticing going through a lot of my old things, like being sick. People would bring me posters, t-shirts, all that type. I mean, I had like a full banker's box of just old t-shirts, and some of them the same ones where it's like I'm going through things and I'm like, holy cannoli, people, like how much stuff did they, you know, but it's what they knew I liked and I appreciate it. It's just funny to go through it now and I'm like, wow, I had a lot of stuff. So didn't get to meet them, didn't anything. So it was like, okay, so Make-A-Wish was amazing. They kept coming and they're like, anything else you want. We lived out in the country. Like, they even offered a horse. I mean, for God's sake, they were like, we want to give you something, Amanda. That did not count as your wish. That did not count, did not. And I'm just like, you know, I still was in the back of my mind. It's like, I want to meet the New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
So came to be, my mom was a travel agent at the time. And so when they were kind of inkling, they didn't really even announce the Coca-Cola like promotion stuff yet. Yeah. But one of her magazines, there was an article explaining there was going to be a cruise with the New Kids on the Block, and it was going to be contest winners that were going to be on this ship.
Wow.
So my mom contacted Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish then contacted our local Sacramento regional bottler or whatever. And they were able to work out with them so that when they had the contest, there were no contest winners in Sacramento. Coca-Cola donated it to Make-A-Wish and to my family.
Okay.
So that's how I got on the boat. But after that, that was the thing, was Make-A-Wish couldn't do anything on the ship. They were pretty much, they took care of everything. The cruise included
got you on the ship
and the air. And the funny, I'll finish my dad, love him to death. He didn't want to go on the cruise because he didn't want to be with a bunch of teeny boppers. He was like, you know, and they've been on cruises. So he timed it well so that he went on another cruise to the same places, except for it wasn't the premier cruise. He just went to Nassau and it was for work. So he pretty much got to go on the cruise, and then he joined us at Disney World afterwards.
So it all worked out for him. Oh, that's so funny. That's such a dad thing.
I got to bring my friend at the time too. So that was, you know, so it was, he was like, he's going to have a better time with it. You go. I don't need to be on that ship.
How how soon before the trip started did you find out that you were actually going to be on the cruise? Like, how long did you have to prep?
So I think it was about 3 months or so ahead of time when I found out, because we didn't really know if Coke was going to be able to pull it off and give it to Make-A-Wish. My mom didn't tell me, hardly anything until she knew for sure, until Make-A-Wish knew for sure. When they told me, and my dad made the decision not to go on the cruise, it was my friend's birthday. So I remember giving to her birthday, like a brochure saying we're going to go on the New Kids on the Block cruise.
Wow.
Such a good gift. If anybody wants to give me a cruise for my birthday, that would be the best gift.
Right? I know, right? Exactly. She was on here. Kel, if you're on here,
Kelly,
wave.
Toronto?
No, that's my friend.
Yeah. She's from here, from Sacramento. We've gone to a couple of concerts since, but yeah, she doesn't do. I mean, although I haven't been doing the whole. We'll get to that too. I'm gonna start rambling.
It's okay. Okay. Ashley, you want to go ahead with the next question?
For her birthday, and then so I think it was about August was when we found out, and
then it went in October.
Yeah, and so we went in October, and so we had everything planned. Oh, there she is.
There's your friend. Yeah.
Hey, Cal. We had a blast. But so the funny story about that is that because we kind of knew that my dad wasn't going to go, they had already put his name on the cruise and on the plane tickets.
Uh-huh.
So Cruise was able to change it and put her name on it. Mind you that her parents also gave my mom a letter saying that it was okay to take their daughter out of the country. Her dad still jokes to this day, you didn't need to bring her back. And, you know that. So the other part was that our air tickets, we couldn't change her name. But this was, in 90. It didn't matter. She traveled as my dad. She flew as my dad. Which is just another funny little tidbit of the trip, is that she was Ralph, and it was our flight.
And nobody questioned it, right?
Yeah, and nobody. It was just my mom had 3 kids with her. My dad was on different air because he couldn't get off from work to travel with us the whole time, but he ended up still at Disney World afterwards. But it was just, it was the funniest things. One of the funny stories is like, back now there's no way. I mean, you can do name changes a lot easier, but she traveled as my dad. So it's just a funny little story that I think I found the plane ticket, and I was like, and there's like the names of my 4 family, my parents, my brother, and myself. And I'm like, but Kelly went. So it was just kind of a fun little thing. So we did, even though we had the time to change things, just little things like that. She has other fun memories that I won't go out into detail. We had fun with her. My dad was a jokester. So
peak 90s, peak
my family.
Like stuff you wouldn't get away with that these days for sure.
I'll just say there was a time change that we figured out.
That's just crazy.
Sorry.
We messed with her. There was a time change. We were there in October when the time changed.
Oh, okay.
We used it to our advantage. My dad was a very smart guy.
Got it. Right.
Okay, so for those who don't know, there were 2 boats on that cruise in particular. One that the new kids were on, and then the other boat. Which boat were you on?
I was on the Oceanic, which was the boat the guys were on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you already told us who you went with. Okay, so I know that you had some special experiences, especially with Joe, right, on the boat. So can you tell us a bit about that? Like, what happened?
So and I just went to lunch with Kelly because I was like, I wanted to hear it from her side too. I mean, I remember from mine was, so we did, when you first get on the boat, they had the whole, here's your t-shirt, everybody got like a 6-pack of Coke, Diet Coke, and Sprite, all these types of things. And you got a letter saying, this is when the meet and greet is going to be. You're going to get your picture with them. It was just a mob. It was just a mob of people. I mean, you think of how meet and greets are now, that you have to get your you just told them who was in your party, and then you took your picture, and it was just everybody just standing in line. Mind you, the cruise had already taken off, so there was already starting to get kind of a little bit of a rough sea.
Yeah.
You're kind of going against current, so it was starting to get a little bumpy. So we finally got through. We got our picture and everything. It's kind of a hilarious picture because Joe looks like he's lurching away from my friend. Donnie's in the back with my mom, and he's just a shadow. And my mom is kind of a shadow. So Donnie the other girls have stories of Donnie's not in their picture because he was behind the curtain vomiting. My mom actually, I guess, comforted him. He kind of lurched because when the ship moved, she kind of caught him and he was like, you're going to be okay. Obviously not. So we had done the pictures and everything. So my friend, we had met a bunch of girls on the ship. So my friend Kelly and one of the other girls we had met, Jody, they were talking and they were like, this is her Make-A-Wish. And they didn't think it was just a quick picture. It was like a kind of a high picture hug. I felt like it's just about as quick as meet and greets now, but you got your picture with the whole group. It was like your group and the whole group. I'm in the middle, sitting on the stool, smiling, not minding it being rough season. I'm just looking like I'm having the best time of my life. But so it was just between Kelly and Jody, they just didn't think that was my Make-A-Wish. They didn't want that to be it. So they wrote a letter. They purchased the picture of you in the life vest. And according to Kel, she said that they gave that to one of the bodyguards. So somehow that went from bodyguard to whomever. My mom said that the cruise director contacted her, and they were trying to do what they could. They didn't know who it was going to be. They didn't know if it was going to be Joe. They didn't even know if it was going to happen. Cruise director finally let her know, like one of the last nights, was that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen tonight. It was formal night, so it worked. It was kind of nice. So it was formal night. We were in the same dining room as them. We had, I think, the different dining. I think we probably had early, and they probably had late. However that worked, I don't remember exactly. But they had it arranged so that myself and my mom could go to the formal dinner, and Joe would step away from dinner, take pictures, sign things, talk with me for a little while, and then we would come back. So I've got a picture somewhere. I've got to find it. It's really cute, of my friends standing there like looking so happy and so giddy when I'm finding out about this, and my mom and my brother. And so everybody's really happy and excited. So I got to meet Joe, and he was great. It was right before my 13th birthday, I believe. And so there was a book that had just gone on sale on the cruise ship, a big, huge, like hardbound with pictures of the guys. So my mom had bought that for me for my birthday. And then I had like a CD that I had him sign. And I think he made, I don't know if he put happy birthday in it also, but he signed it and he was really good. And then this was the picture.
Oh, and it's horrible. Oh.
So I had, actually what's funny is that one of my friends now, how we kind of met just randomly when people make comments in groups on the New Kids group, they're like, is that your prom picture? And I was like,
well, I was
no, but it kind of looks like that. And I'm like,
couple.
I feel like I want to be like, hey Joe, can I get a prom picture at con?
Yes.
But here's the funny thing is, I don't know if you can see his hair. I showed this to John in Las Vegas when I was there for Joey and Debbie. And if you can see his hair, half of it is slicked back and the other is curly. And John was dying. He was in just like almost on the floor laughing at his hair. And he was like, because I was doing meet and greet, he goes, when you get in there, you tell him we need to do that hair again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, yeah. I'll
you know what?
tell Joe that. Yeah, I was like, it'll probably come across a lot better from you, buddy.
Right. But you know what? I also had curly hair as well. And like, that weather just does not agree. And your hair, one side does one thing and the other is off doing another.
It's slicked. It's like, I don't know. This is the old picture, but it is slicked back. That's an
adorable picture.
Easier, but it's like he literally, it was almost like he was trying to be Two-Face, like the character from like Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great picture.
That was how I got to meet him. It was because of my friends, and they didn't think that my Make-A-Wish would have been complete without actual meeting him. So I kind of joke with people. I'm like, I think I got the first initial like one-on-one ultimate,
Yes. So you've met him since then, or you've seen him since then.
I have.
Let's tell him about your experience.
I'm just one of those that, and sometimes they're so darn quick too.
Yeah.
So when I met him and Debbie in Vegas, I did give them each a little note, and I think in his I might have included the picture just saying, thank you for what you guys have done. You got me through my treatment as a kid, through cancer, music heals, all that type of stuff. And then I, numerous times I've seen him usually when I did the meet and greets this year, I had like a button with my group picture on there. And the one time, I think it was Chicago, I was talking to him as I was going through, because it was like, oh no, I was with him in Chicago. And so when we were talking, I told him, he goes, oh yeah. And so he said, as I was walking off, as I was being pulled away by my shoulders, how it's like, move along. And I was like, oh yeah. And he was like, oh, you were on that. He called me something. He's like, oh, you're one of our Coca-Cola girls or something like that. And I was like, hey, didn't know anything about that, but sure, I'll take that. As I turned around and stomped on poor John's toe. I didn't even see him behind me.
That's okay. It happens.
And he was totally fine. He reached over and gave me a big hug. He's like, I'm totally fine. And I was like, good, because I thought I just smushed it.
He's a good trooper.
So, yes.
So aside from that Joe experience, do you have any other favorite memories from that cruise? And it doesn't need to involve a new kid.
Yeah, no, the cruise was it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of the girls, because I was still getting treatment and still chemo and that type of stuff. I was bald, although my hair had already started to grow back at that point in time. Yeah. I didn't have energy to run around the ship and quote, I wouldn't say chase the guys, but that's what a lot of them did, was to get their pictures and all that type of stuff. I sat back and I just kind of, I had a good time, and I got to talk to a lot of the family members. I got pictures with a couple of the parents. I did have a fun little moment with Mark Wahlberg. While I was waiting for a friend outside of the casino. I was sitting down and we were chatting, and he's like, well, which one is your friend? And I was like, and he's like, is it the one with their head jacked up to here, or is it the one with the fanny pack? And I was just like, we just had a good time. And it was just, and then, and I told him, I was like, no, that's not my friend. That's my friend over there. He was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, well, hopefully, because what it was Joe was in the casino gambling at the age of 17. So crews did whatever, you know, they wanted. But it was cool. But for me, I was like, you know, he's gambling. That's cool. I'm just going to hang out here until my friends are ready to go. So then when he was done with the conversation, he said, oh, it was nice to talk to you. My name is Mark, and walked off. You know, it's like, and back then, you know, when you had film, you didn't think to take a whole lot of pictures either. It was like, you know,
well,
your
and
thing
who was he at the time, right?
precious.
He was just some random named Mark, right? That looked like a Wahlberg. He wasn't Marky Mark.
Exactly. And that was the other thing that I mentioned to my friend when we went to lunch, was that you knew the Wahlbergs, a lot of them, because they were walking around with baseball jerseys, and on the back it said Wahlbergs. They were not Red Sox jerseys. Mm-hmm. They were Oakland A's and San Francisco Giants.
Weird.
Well, the year before, the A's and the Giants had been in the World Series. And it was like the Earthquake series, but it wasn't like, well, okay, your picture behind you. Joe has a Twins hat. You know, like,
yes.
Really? What did that have to do with it? You know, it's like there's so many of those things. You're like, I think they just took what's popular. And even in our group picture, Jordan is wearing a Minnesota Timberwolves hat.
So weird.
But like you said, like we're like the Red Sox were in their like slop era a bit, weren't they?
Yeah. I have family in Boston, and believe me, that might have been when the season tickets got held off or handed off somehow.
Okay, so we have obviously people in the comments who were on the night.
I'm like, I can't hardly. I see everybody like, wait, yeah, it's hard to keep up with that. You guys are on.
We've recently had other people from the 1990 cruise on also. So being that, you know, you were so young and you had such a different experience of how you know, were there on the cruise, how does your experience differ from like what you're hearing from other people?
You know, we still really have a lot of the same stories, like, because there were structured things, like we had the dock party, we had the pictures, the interactions with the families, and the, you know, all that type of stuff. We really did seem to have still kind of the same interactions in the same cruise. It's just that I was a little more, you know, on the laid back kind of, just, you know, I didn't like actively go out and try and take pictures. Some of them I was impressed. Some of them got like autographs and all that type of stuff. And I was like, I just didn't even, I think that's just kind of my personality too, is I'm just kind of one that I'm like, hey, there's so-and-so. There are times that I have ran into some people. When Taylor mentioned Joey Fatone, that was a moment I had during a Disney race as I'm running to the finish, and we will bleep Amanda's words out that it's Joey Fatone, and I went to give him a high five and I missed it. And I was
he running?
And he was like, "Keep going, you're almost done." And I was like,
he running
the race? That high five. He did. He used to run a lot of the Disney races. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was just kind of, it was one of those, like, you see him out of the corner and you're like, okay, I'm delusional at the end. And I was like, and I'm literally running backwards. My friend has no idea who he is. She's like, Amanda, the finish line's around the corner. And I'm just like, it's Joey. And he was like, oh, you got this. And I'm like, yeah, I usually am the one, but it is like, you know, I've been in elevators with people and I'm just kind of like, you know, they're celebrities, but they're people. Give them their space, give them their, you know. So that was kind of with me as a kid. I was just kind of like, okay, this is cool. They're the new kids. Yeah, I want to go around and kind of chase them, but I don't have the energy to do it either.
Yeah.
That's not a bad way to be.
So, you know,
okay,
I think
so listen,
I respect that too, because I don't, you know, and I think that's part of the stuff with Joe too, is I don't be like, oh my gosh, do you remember every time that I've come and seen, we won't count how many times I've gone to the Joe shows, and you know, after a while you're like, oh great, he probably recognizes me. Yeah. I saw Frank is on here. He's probably, oh yeah, I recognize that chick.
Okay, so we asked, we've spoken to a couple of other 1990 cruisers, and we always asked, what was the reception like when you got home? So I know, like, for one person, they were like a minor celebrity, and for another, it was a little bit more icy. People, you know, some people were jealous. What was it like when you got home?
Mine was kind of a combination of both. Like, I came back because I was in my community. I was the girl who had cancer. Everybody knew that I was sick and knew that I was going on my Make-A-Wish. So people were excited for me to go. Yeah. And were really interested in how it all worked out, who I got to see, who I got to talk to, and all that type of stuff. But there was always the, oh my gosh, you saw the new kids on the block? Like, ew, you know, kind of reaction too. There's all, especially like from the guys that were my age. So I was in junior high. I think I was in grade. I think the time. So it was just, it was like, okay, yeah. But
weren't you featured in your yearbook though?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I love it.
Page out. So I was on the yearbook staff in junior high. And yeah.
You were on the staff. Okay.
I was involved in a lot of stuff, even though I wasn't, and I did like half days of school, but they tried to keep me involved in everything so that I still, I kept all my credits so they could graduate and everything on time. Yeah. But it was just something that, you need a social life. And I think my family realized that. And I think my friends too, also, they knew that it's like, get her in as much as you can. Obviously when I was super sick and couldn't go to school, I wouldn't, but I transitioned or do half days, just enough for me to do things. So I was on the yearbook staff, and I think originally they were trying to surprise me by putting this in the yearbook, but they were not very secretive. And they left the layout like wide open one day when I walked in. I was like, oh, you guys have my picture. Because, this was back in the day when you actually literally sent you sent photos with a layout to the yearbook company with like glue, like a little glue stick, and put things together like that. So it's just like, okay, so I saw it. So they were like, okay, yeah, it's going to be in the yearbook. So that, got it right here.
I love all the props.
So
a magical experience.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the group pic. Oh my gosh.
Group picture. So you can kind of see, I've got a better picture of it that's in color. But you see Joe, so the ship moved. So this is my friend. Like, she was funny. She's like, Danny's lap was the only place to sit because you see me with the stool. Yeah. And then Jordan's got another stool. I think Joe was on a stool. There's my brother. And then you can see my mom and Donnie all the way in the back shadows. Oh,
so when you said shadow, you really meant shadow. Okay.
Right. I mean, that's questionable. I have Donnie in there. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I always joke to him, like, there's in here, it's hilarious. There are girls that sign my yearbook just to give me their phone number to give to Jordan.
Yeah.
That's the reception that I got. It was like, oh, hey, yeah. Oh, hi, Amanda. How are you? Are you going to meet the new kids on the block? It was like, okay, yeah. It's like, go ahead and sign my yearbook. No, I'm not going to see Jordan. I don't know them. I met them. They were very nice.
So is there like a write-up, or is it just a picture that's in your yearbook?
There's a write-up. There is a write-up in there. And
did you write it, or?
I did not. No, it was whoever, like, our head person, and it was a student. And he was just one of the other people. He wrote it up. He somehow was a weird small town. So his mom worked with my aunt, but it's my grandma's sister. So he knew kind of more what was going on. So a lot of his information he was getting secondhand from my aunt also. So I think that's why they're secretive. And he's like, oh, I have an in. I can get this type of stuff. And yeah, when you leave the layout out in the open and Amanda walks right in, it's a little obvious. But
so it was still
very nice and appreciate it. But what's funny is that then that became me as all through life. Anybody from town, it's the girl who met the new kids on the block. Mm-hmm. The girl who met, and you know what? I'm fine with that. I was totally fine with it. Which one of the funny stories is, even like graduating college or whatever, as an adult, ran into one of my friends from high school, and he wanted to introduce me to his wife. And he was like, oh, come here. This is Amanda. She's the girl who met the new kids on the block. We're in our like 20s, almost 30s. And I was like, really? After all this time? And he's like, that's what I think of you. And I was like, that's cool.
There you go. It's who you are now.
It really is now that, especially now that they've come back and everything. It's just, Okay. It's fun though.
Being that you were on the cruise and going through your treatment at the time, mm-hmm. like, how did that help you or inspire you through your treatment?
It really helped. Just even at the beginning when I found out about it, just to know that I was going to, things to look forward to, it was very motivating. It really, and like, I love music, I think, and this, as I'm also a nurse, I was a pediatric oncology nurse for years. Wow. And music heals. Music is just something that people can connect to. They use it to, feel better. And music is amazing. And I use it with my own patients. Okay, I'm guilty of jumping on a bed and singing Lizzie McGuire with a patient. Also, somebody's got me on an iPhone singing Taylor Swift to get the child out of bed. We used to do karaoke just to get, patients to do things. And me being I used to be a patient, and music is just such an amazing thing, and it heals, and it's an amazing thing. And it helps people get out of hard times, and it helps them through hard times.
It's so awesome.
And how are you now? Is cancer still a part of your life? How are you doing?
No, cancer is not. So after 5 years of finishing treatment, you're considered cancer-free. You're in remission, you're in remission and everything. So you're considered, 5 years is usually kind of like, okay, that's the big hump that you're good. I always say I'm as normal as I will ever be. But because I had chemo and I also had cranial radiation back in the 80s, there's a lot of side effects that I do have. I've got, a lot of other things, cardiovasculature things, just a lot of other, little medical things that, but I've ran marathons. That was the one thing, one of the doctors I used to work with, he goes, after all the things that you've been through, you should not be running marathons. And I was like, and that's what got me through treatment. That's me.
Wow.
You tell me something and you try and say I can't do it, forget it. Guess what? I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just one of those things. It's just like, I may have issues, but I look past them and I just get through them to the next day.
You are inspiring. That is.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Yeah. And I love it. Oh. Okay. So,
and you went on to become a children's oncology nurse as well, too.
Yes. So I was a pediatric, I don't anymore because this is kind of the medical stuff that kind of happened.
Yeah.
I was a pediatric oncology nurse for 16 years. I loved it. Kids are resilient. I would have done nothing else. When I went to nursing school, as soon as I did peds, I was like, this is definitely what I want to do. Although when I was done with my treatment, I remember telling all of my doctors and nurses that I would never step foot in a hospital ever again.
Yeah.
I was going to be an architect. So as soon as I went to nursing school and became a nurse, I ate my words every single day. I actually worked with one of my old doctors, which when I first saw him, this was the funny thing too. He was like, you look familiar. And I was like, okay, well, imagine me with no hair. And he was like, okay. And I said, and my Make-A-Wish was to meet the New Kids on the Block. And he was like, oh my gosh, I know who you are. Because my Make-A-Wish was so hard to get. And he was on the board of directors at the time.
Wow.
So it's all gone full circle. It's been great. I love working with the kids. I had to step away from working in the acute care, just medical reasons. I just can't be on my, it's rough. I give it to nurses that work today. I thank goodness did not have to work through COVID. I'm still working as a nurse. I just had to step away from the acute. So it's just, I miss it. I really do. But at the same time, things have just changed over the years too.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure what you've done in your time, I mean, currently with your position and also before.
Yeah,
you've so many people, especially with your stories. So it's very inspiring for sure.
Thank you.
Okay. So do you have any New Kids adventures lined up this year?
Yes, I do. Jeez.
Tell us about it.
I know, right? So I already did Carnegie. I told Mel earlier, I said, I'm doing the C's this year. Mm-hmm. Believe me, I'd like to do a lot more of the Joe shows. It kills me every time. I'm like, I have to be a good girl and not keep buying them. So I did Carnegie. I am going to do Con. I'm doing BlockCon. I'm going to do Casino, the SoCal one, doing one of the nights in Southern California for that. And then I'm also going to go on the cruise for my first time. I just say it's my first adult cruise. I haven't been on them since 90. So I'm going to go on my first cruise.
Oh my God.
And okay, and one of the days on the cruise lands on a special day for you. Yeah. So can you explain that?
Yeah. So Friday, October the 13th was the day that I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
Every year, the October 13th is something that I celebrate. I call it my cancerversary. Mm-hmm. I celebrate what cancer gave me. I'm going to start crying. Mm-hmm. But it's just all the good things that actually came from my treatment. Wow. So I celebrate it every year. So this year I will be on the ship. Mm-hmm. thought it was sail away day, but it's not. It's the next day. So I think it's the day, are we at the private island that day? But it's still one way or the other. And I'm going to be having the time of my life with my friends. So I will be celebrating my cancerversary. And it'll be 34 years. And it'll almost be 33 years from when I met the guys.
Wow. Well, and you know what, Jen, or whoever right now is behind the OG's account said, we are going to celebrate on the boat. I want to be a part of that.
Yes. Seriously. And
Friday
I know people can make me, but I want to be like, let's get the buttons. Let's stream. We can't really do stream. I'm thinking like old school cruises when you had like the streamers and everything, but you know,
no, people had confetti cannons on the last cruise.
Oh, nice. Yes. Because I remember that was with my mom's travel agency. We'd give people like a going away package, and I would be responsible for tearing up the little things. And I knew how to like make them go the further, like over the ship and all that type of stuff. I mean, now you're not supposed to, as
we'll
much.
Keep it on the ship. We'll keep it contained.
I should, right? But yeah, definitely. I know we're partying it up. I am so excited just to be able to be on the ship, and just this thing is too is all this like just meeting so many different people, and that was what I told Mel is that. It really like I've gone to concerts. I've gone to every single tour. I've gone with my local friends and I love them and we have an amazing time. But, it's just kind of like you meet the other people and you're just kind of like, oh, sorry, excuse me. It's not, you don't really make any connection with them at the concert until I went to Fenway and we did that pre-party upstairs with our own food. We got to go inside the Green Monster and I met some of the nicest girls in the whole wide world. Mm-hmm. And, we ended up with this next tour. So that, it was like, that was pretty close to post-COVID. Yeah. We all kept in touch and we all kind of had a pact that I was like, if I go to Chicago, I want to see all of your faces. So 4 of them I was in meet and greets with, another one I met with afterwards. And we just kind of, that kind of started the ball. It was like, I started meeting people after that. Then it's just, so that was the tour. I did Fresno with my friends locally. We did meet and greet in Fresno. Mm-hmm. Sacramento, we just had seats. But what was super cool, and I think I mentioned this to Adrian Rattail, why can't I think of his name? Sergio, who sang California Love at Fresno, sat right beside me in Sacramento. So during Sacramento, she's doing the actual rap. We're in the stands doing our own. So I hardly even saw hers, but we were having an amazing time. So just in regular seats. Then I went to Chicago and then I went to Boston and had an amazing time. Hi, you Michelle. Went all out. You. Yes, I'm part of their I call them my Chicago posse. And some of them are going to be at con, so I'm excited to see them too. But yeah, so I mean, just meeting people, having a good time. Even just in Boston, I went with one of my good friends, and we've known each other since junior high. And just meeting people, and she was like, people are really not, it's like, I don't know if it's just post-pandemic, we all just need to socialize and just see people. It's been a great way to do that, and I feel like a safe way too, being sometimes going as a female, going to foreign cities, and that you're kind of in a safe bubble.
People will take care of you.
Yeah,
for
sure. So then at least Joey shows too, so I
was just going to say, so being that the cruise is something that you're going on for the first time since the original cruise, I'm putting one thing out there into the universe because we like to manifest, which is October 13th, new kids should have it as gold night because gold is the color of childhood leukemia.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Gold night. We can all celebrate you in the essence of return.
You know what? Even if it's not the theme, we can still make it our own theme.
Oh, yeah. I know because I hear a lot. Like they're like, oh, it's Friday the 13th. We want horror, but still, we could make it a gold horror thing too. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that.
So manifesting that, but then also, what is something for your first cruise as an adult that you're looking forward to or hoping for?
It's hanging out with my friends. Yeah. It's really getting a chance instead of just being, hey, we're at a concert. Hey, we're here. Okay, now we're going our separate ways. We've got days to hang out and just, stay up till whenever and just be like, hey, I'm over here. Come over here. Let's have drinks. Let's do this. Let's go. I think now that it's because I've, got to know a lot more people. And I saw one of them, Bree Hollywood will stay between us. We had a good time at one of the Joe shows.
As you should. It's all good.
Exactly. No, it is. And it's to the point that the bourbon room, I think, recognize, you start getting recognized. They're like, hey, Amanda, how are you? And I'm like, what's up, Matt? How you doing today? So it's fun though. It is. It's all in good fun, and it's just this community that we've made, and it's just to be able to hang out with everybody, and just it's a lot of fun.
Is your friend Kelly, who went with you on the first cruise, coming with you this year?
No, she is not.
Kelly.
I know. Now the cabin that I have is only for 2, but Amber, stop it. Amber, who is going to be going with me, she totally ran. Again, this is how we met. Is that we joke, we call each other our Joey Wing girls, because she doesn't really have any friends near here that are Joey or New Kids fans. So she's always kind of going with like her daughter and other people. So I bought a ticket to sit closer to another friend for Carnegie. So we just stayed in touch, and she got good videos of things, and we just were in communication. And so there was one time I was like, girl, I'll be your wing girl anytime. And she's like, you know, and she's like, so it just kind of started this thing. So we go, and she came from Florida to go to the St. Patrick's Day party at Bourbon Room. So she made the trip, and we had time because we were like, that's the first time we're going to really see each other. No, and we're like, it's great. We've hit it off really well. So we're doing con together, and we're doing the cruise together also. But I would love to have Kelly on the ship too. I just, you know, it's hard because she's got kids too, and it's hard to coordinate stuff like that. Her kids are busy playing sports and stuff.
Well, listen, Kelly, if you're still in the chat, you still have a few months to figure it out.
Right?
She get on the boat.
I know. I'd love to have her on. Oh my gosh. Would love it, Kelly, if you're still there.
You know what, but you know what, Kelly, if you can't make it, trust that she has that Amanda will have a ton of blockheads around her, surrounding her, making sure that she's going to have an epic time. And we can't wait to have her back on the boat where she belongs.
Yay. Thanks, guys.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Is there anything else that you want to share with everyone watching right now?
I'm trying to see if I wrote some notes, because I was like, you know, I do ramble a lot, just because I get excited, you know. But I think you guys covered everything. Yeah, Mel, you guys had great questions, and I'm open to talk about it. That's what Melanie asked about, like my cancer stuff. I'm totally open to talk about anything. Being a nurse too, I like to educate people. So, you know, it's one of those things that I'm an open book. So if anybody ever has any questions about stuff, please. And also I joke, like, it's fun. It's easy on here, but like I sometimes, when I'm in person with people too, I'm the nicest person in the whole wide world. But then sometimes I'm kind of like, I joke, my friends always joke that I kind of, not resting face, but it's just sometimes when I'm trying to think, I get this, I'm not angry, people. So if you see me and I'm kind of like, where do I know? You know, I don't know. It's just like, it's my thinking face. I'm like, what?
It's just her face. Can we not make resting bitch face a thing? No, it's just our face.
It is. And it's just like, you know, but I've never had any problems, and everybody in the community has been amazing, and it's just, it's a lot of fun, and it's just a lot of love too.
Okay. So,
well, you know what now? Oh, sorry, Ashley, go ahead.
We just had a lot of comments from various people about Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
I already know the answer to this one.
Go ahead.
Well, no. People were asking, I think it's Jen who's been asking to ask you why you're called the Harry Potter, but I'm going to guess. My guess is because, so the OG cruisers have been hosting lives, and I had said, you know what, we're going to have her on our live on April 5th. Can we like kind of save her going live until she joins ours? So I know that they've been so excited and chomping at the bit to have you on their live. And now that you're here, now you are going to be all over their lives, right?
Yes. Well, I'll be able to help out. I see Heather on there too. You fancy now. It is. So it's been, you know, I've been trying to take a back seat just because I wanted, you know, we didn't want to spill any beans or anything of anything. Yeah. So now we'll see us. And that's I am so excited about this. So we are putting together, we're thinking it's kind of going to be like a museum of stuff from the original cruise. Yeah. And so we're collecting pictures and items and things, and we're going to have it on the ship.
Do you have a lot of memorabilia? Like a lot of...
We do. There is something...
But do you? Because I know that Jen has a lot, but did you save a lot? What's that? It's a hat?
Hat.
Oh my gosh.
I've got a lot of stuff. We all come combination. We've got a lot of stuff. It's going to be an amazing display. We've got some really cool stuff to show. So I'm looking forward to putting that together. And these girls, oh my gosh, we keep sharing all of these stories, and it's like, we don't like, I know, Jen and Christine knew each other. They were in line together, you know, and Heather too. But it's like, we start looking at pictures and I'm like, you were in my picture. I should have been in that picture. You know, we have all these same moments, like pictures of almost the same moments. And we're like, we had to have known each other or like bumped shoulders or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a great,
especially
great,
you and Jen, because you were both on the same boat. You were on the Oceanic, right?
Yeah, we were, and it's just such the stories that we all have is kind of the same thing. And it's just like, it's been a great group to be in too. And it's just, we, you know, we all can understand being on that first ship, and, you know, some of the same stories that we're like, did that really happen? Or did you hear that too? Or did that really, oh, okay, that's what happened. Oh, okay. You know, so we have a lot of fun stories that we've been able just to kind of reminisce and just kind of, you know, talk about what our experiences were like.
And how many cruisers have you been able to find? Because I think the last time I heard it was, what, 10? 9?
So that's gonna be Jen. Jen's got the more logistics on that type of stuff. But
yeah, Jen, how many cruisers are you at now that you've found?
I don't.
Let us know.
Because we have our little space, but we have found a lot of crew.
Yes.
We have found a lot of the crew. We've gotten in touch with a lot of the crew, which will be interesting to hear their stories, and we're getting photos and stuff from them, which is just amazing to hear some of these things there. It's great. It's really cool. But I think at one point in time, I think she said, did she say 15 or so that we found? There's a core 4 of us that are working on the project, but but at the same time, there's people that we're, you know, slowly adding to our group that we, you know, are keeping in touch with to, you know, get photos and a few other things from. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's cool just to, you know, look back and reminisce and just be like, hey, this is cool. Like, and the fact that it's going to happen, because we kind of didn't think, we were like, okay, so, you know, it all started on your guys' live when Donnie came on with Jen, and, you know, it was like, yeah, I like this. And we were like, this isn't going to happen, but we'll be in touch, but it's going to happen. It's happening, and we're excited about it.
It's a very, very cool, everyone, you know, is so nostalgic right now for all of the things that we grew up with. So it's kind of cool to be able to see that. Plus, like you said, your stories, there's a lot of lore about that first cruise and a lot of rumors. So to have the connection with, oh, what was that?
No, I was saying, we want to turn that around. We want them, we really want the guys. There's been a lot of, oh, that was the worst cruise. That was the, you know, they even thought about not going on a cruise ever again after that. Yeah. It was the 90s. Things were so much different back then. And we're trying to remind them also of the positive, happy things that had happened because of it too.
Very cool.
Well, and do you remember, again, a few weeks ago when Donnie was on the live, like, he was still like concerned that there were a lot of fans who were on that boat who were super disappointed and didn't enjoy themselves. But you guys have come back. You're fans. You're on the boat.
Yeah.
You had a great experience.
Amazing time. And that's the thing, is that, you know, there's always gonna, I feel like sometimes it's with anything in the world too, is that the people that may have the more negative or not so positive things to say sometimes have the louder voice sometimes.
They're the loudest, yeah.
And then you don't get to see those of us that have more of the positive things, because we just be like, well, we had a good time, but we don't need to be like, yay, we had a good time about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and now you are, right? You guys have, like, you know, found each other, banded together, and you've created the Instagram account. There's a Facebook group where you're comparing memories and comparing stories and also sharing them on lives. Like, you must have a live coming up on Sunday, right? I think that's when your Instagram lives are.
It is, I'm Pacific time, so I want to say it's 6 p.m. Okay. Jen, you're on here. I want to say it's 6 p.m. So it's 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Yep. I think it's pretty much every Sunday. And I think next week she's got stuff about, was it Blockfest or something? I've never heard of it.
Right. I think it's like,
it looks like
something that she celebrated on the 2015 cruise or something like that, right? Well, I think you and I were going to have to make sure to tune in to get the full story, right?
To see. Yeah. So it'll be an interesting topic to go over stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. It's been really inspiring to see all the other kind of Instagram lives happening that are all specific to different areas of this new kid experience. And you guys obviously have a very unique perspective on the cruise, being that you are the OGs, the originals. It's been really fun to see what you guys are doing.
Thanks. We're having a great time doing it. Yeah.
Thank you, Amanda, for joining us today. And again, I know it's been like painful. You know, you've been like holding off. I know you've been really eager to join the other girls on their on the OG live. But thank you for saving yourself for us. We appreciate it. Harry Potter, I know you've been stuck underneath the stairs.
You guys brought us together, so of course I'm gonna, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, listen, again, if anybody wants to follow Amanda, go to the drop-down menu. You'll see all of our handles, including hers. You can follow along. And again, there's the OG Cruisers who are in this chat as well, too. And you can follow along and see all of the little artifacts and the pictures that they've discovered in their conversations and their lives, because what they are pulling together for the cruise, I'm sure will be very epic. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take you down, okay? I'll take care of it. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Ashley, don't go anywhere.
It's every week we meet new people. This is such a small world, but it's such a big world. Like, there are people we've never met, stories we've never heard. And I'll just plug this whole thing for a second. If anyone watching right now has a unique and interesting story, it doesn't matter if you've met them once, met them a million times, been on no cruises, been
or
on
met them 0 times.
Yep. We still want to hear your stories and why new kids are so important to you, because that is why Blockhead U is here.
Right.
We're educating each other about our Blockhead love.
So yeah, DM either Ashley or me or the both of us, start a little chat. We'd love to hear from you. I can't remember. Have we started planning out next week's? Do we have our guests? I'm not sure.
So we're in talks with a couple people. Okay. We have some sisters or sisters-in-law who are willing to join us next week.
Yes.
So we're there. Yep. Who met through kids, and then their lives continued on in a very unique relationship. Yep. So we have that. And then other than that, though, we're still working on a few things. So that's
going. And you know what, Ashley, I was going to say, like, we should try to do another, afternoon one, like another weekend afternoon one, because then we can loop in some of our European friends. And I saw Emma, who's in Ireland, was here, and it's very, very late where she is. But, ideally we want to reach them in a little bit more decent time on their side of the world. So maybe we should work on that, too. Sometime before BlockCon. Well, yeah. Australia, I think when we start, it's around lunchtime. It's around 1 or something. But still, if we do on the weekend, then it's not in the middle of their workday.
Yep. I'm in. We'll plan it.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe not this week. Easter.
Well, I'm saying maybe before BlockCon. That gives us some room, because although BlockCon, we can officially say that BlockCon is next month.
Around the corner.
I need to get my act together. I have planned nothing. I have nothing planned. It's terrible.
Do you have your progress?
No. Okay. I have nothing. I don't even have my plane ticket yet. I need to get my act together. Yeah.
Okay. It'll happen. Right. It'll matter if it's last minute.
It'll all come together. It always does. Listen, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. I know Megs is here. I saw Jenny. I'm pretty sure Megs and Jenny are going to go live tomorrow, Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific. So please follow them along or follow them for those details. And we will see you guys here next week, the usual spot, with some more BlockCon, with some more Blockheads.
Maybe BlockCon too. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about BlockCon. Maybe by then I'll have something planned. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Ashley. We'll see you next week, okay?
Bye,
everyone. See you. Bye.